Hey, I'm Dean and this is Legacy Voyage. In Season 1, I'm documenting my journey to earning my first 100K net worth as a full-time college student. Join me as I share some of the lessons I learned along the way.
Today, I want to share. I feel like it's kind of like a superpower because once you know or once you train this skill and you can read like a whole bunch of books in a short amount of time and take in a whole bunch more information than you usually can. Because at least I did. Like before, I would read like I don't know 2 books or something like a month. Nah, probably like a book a month or something like that. But after I started training this skill and started doing this thing, it really helped me just take in a lot more information. And it was originally I was listening to this podcast. It was an interview podcast. And the guest was on. His name was Cliff Weitzman. I think that's how his name is spelled. But Cliff, he's very dyslexic, dyslexia. And because he has dyslexia, it was very difficult for him to read. So he had a super tough time trying to read. So what he did was he created this software. It was just a simple text to speech software that he could use to read. Like he would put in whatever book he had to read or whatever book, whatever passage, and then he would just listen to it on autopilot. So he ended up at Brown. He was able to graduate, and then from Brown, he started a company called Speechify. Speechify, it's basically like a AI text to speech company. So instead of the usual voices that we hear, like if you ever hear Siri or Alexa, those voices are a lot robotic and they don't sound natural at all. But Speechify makes the voice sound it makes it sound like an actual human is reading it to you, which is really cool. Like when I first checked it out, it had voices like Gwyneth Paltrow and Snoop Dogg. So I gave it like a piece of text and then it literally read it in the voice of Snoop Dogg, which was crazy. But that's not the actual superpower or the actual skill that I'm talking about. The skill that I'm talking about is being able to listen to something super fast. So when Cliff started out, when he was listening to passages or books and stuff, he started off like 1.2, then 1.5, then 1.7 times speed. And he would slowly start to build his way up. So now he's to the point where he's listening to podcasts and audiobooks at like 3, 4, even 5 times speed, which is wild. So when I started off, I was like, you know what? I'm that guy. I listen to podcasts all the time. I threw on my podcast and I immediately jumped to 2 times speed. So it's like I'm that dude. But then I realized it's a lot faster than I thought it was. I cannot keep up at all. So I had to reel it back in, slowly build my way up. The way I like to think about it, it's kind of like in the gym. You can't just automatically go into the gym and then bench press 225. You have to slowly build your way up to that weight. And then eventually you'll get to the point where you can just bench that on demand. And it works the same with the skill of listening to things very fast. And what I also found was that the biggest jump is from like 1 time speed to 1.5. Because once you start listening to something at like 1 to 1.5, then cranking it up just a little bit doesn't really make that much of a difference for you to be able to understand it. So now I'm to the point where I can listen to podcasts at 3 times speed and audiobooks at 3 times speed. So I can just consume a whole bunch of information like crazy. It's insane to me how I can take a 30-minute podcast and condense it down into 10 minutes and just have a lot more info in a short amount of time. But I seriously do think that's a huge skill that can help a lot. And then the company I was talking about, Speechify, the way I use it for school was I would just pass it in some of the readings that I had to do, and then it would just read it super duper fast. Like I would set it at 3 times speed and it would go through. And I would just follow along, trying to understand as much as I could. Once you have the listening part on with the reading part, then you could just so that's a lesson for this episode. With the life update, last night I slept at like 1 or 2 in the morning. My sleeping schedule was it was going very well until I took a nap and then completely threw off my circadian rhythm. So now I'm slowly starting to reset it. Like this morning I woke up at 10. Tomorrow I'll try like 8 or something, 8 or 9. I don't want to go jump straight to 5 in the morning and then all of a sudden I'm tired for the next week. And sleep is like the most important thing. In terms of my diet, it's been going very well actually. With counting calories and making sure I have my protein, it's actually super easy to keep track of what I've eaten and what I can't eat. So like yesterday I was debating between 2 scoops of Rocky Road and half a muffin. Life hack, ice cream is way better than half a muffin. 'Cause those Costco muffins, they're so calorie dense, it's wild. Maybe I should make like an episode on fitness, like the basics. 'Cause all it is just calories in versus calories out. If you burn more calories than you eat, then you're gonna lose weight. That is physics or something like that. But that is all for this episode. I shall see you in the next one. I'll talk to you.